And I think that's really fundamentally what it boils down to. People go, oh, the government should do something about that. To me, that just simply says, well, I'm incapable of making that decision for myself. That shows a level to me of immaturity. And if that's the case, move home.
Yeah.
Move home. Let your parents make the decision for you. At least then it doesn't impact me.
Yeah.
Because as an adult, I am willing not only to accept, make the decision, but you also have to then be willing to accept the consequences. And I think that's the difference.
That's your personal responsibility.
That's just it. But when it's the government, I've got somebody to blame. And I think that's part of the problem today is it's not about them. It's not about out there. We have to start looking internal and inside to go, what can I do to make a difference? What can I do to make a change? If you don't like what's going on environmentally, what are you doing? Are you reducing, are you not running out to buy the next Apple iPhone, for example? Because that consumerism is what's destroying much of the environment. We're putting a lot of garbage out there, plastics. What are you personally doing? Are you not drinking from plastic containers? Are you using recycled containers? Are you using the steel straw? Are you carrying your plastic straw around in your purse?
They did a study on glass bottles for beer and for aluminum cans. And aluminum cans are far more expensive and less damaging to the environment than glass returnable bottles. And the reason is that the transportation of those bottles back and forth actually causes more carbon dioxide than the actual recycled aluminum.
The weight of the aluminum versus the weight of the glass. Right? The only downside is then you've got more contact with aluminum, which that's going on to a whole health topic, which I don't think anyone
they
cares
actually
about.
They actually line tins. There's a YouTube video on those aluminum cans, which is just spectacular as to how the technology that went into aluminum can and how it's made, and it is lined so that your beverage doesn't touch any aluminum. So.
Well, and the point for me is whether we're having a discussion about aluminum or glass or this or that is really we need to be able to have the discussion. And you have a media today that is bought and paid for by a government who has one position and is shutting down conversations like this that need to be had. So if you can have an open dialogue, and it doesn't matter where you're coming from, set aside all the labels and just go, here's the problem. Everybody contribute to what the potential solution is. And I can present data honestly and fairly, and you can present your data honestly and fairly, and we can have that honest conversation without determining what necessarily the outcome is going to be until after we've had the conversation.
Or being afraid to actually talk about a subject too. That's another thing. There's things that we can't actually talk about here. We can, but we have the threat of...
it's controversial, right? So people will automatically, turn off or shut off, or the haters send their comments and notes.
That's fine if they do that. It's when the government comes down and says, you can't do that. You can't do that. Or it's like the telephone company listening in on your conversation saying, you can't talk about that. Because that's what Google and these other companies are doing. YouTube.
Siri.
Actually, Siri.
Siri.
Yeah, Alexa.
three phones just lit up over there.
That's right. So when you do that sort of thing, it's listening to you. So I don't like that is happening in our society, that we've got a monitoring going on. I can see monitoring for terrorism and that sort of thing, but the thing is, this kind of thing that we're talking about is just day-to-day things that are happening in our lives. Some things we can't talk about.
If you've enjoyed this excerpt, please don't forget to watch the full video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.